Welcome to episode 92 of Drew's Sports Crew here on this Monday morning / afternoon. Myself, Drew Skyberg, bringing you the news in the sports world as always. And yeah, we have the similar format here on this Monday. We're going to start, of course, in the world of high school sports. We'll be in the Eastern Wisconsin Conference. We'll be touching on the news for girls and boys basketball. And then also we'll be then diving into, we'll go to professional sports and we'll be looking Packers matchup next week, right? On a bye week this week, no game to recap. However, we'll be looking forward. We'll be looking at that Monday night matchup against the Los Angeles Rams. And then lastly, we'll be checking out the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll be looking how they do. They win a thriller, right, in Dallas. They lose in Houston. So, it kind of like it was tough, but I mean that win on Friday against Dallas was so thrilling, and then such a low point in Houston is kind of like and end up almost feeling like they cancel each other out. That's how I felt, but I'll save that more for the Bucks talk. We'll be doing, of course, the preview then for Week 9, and yeah, let's go to the EWC now. So we'll start in the world of girls basketball, and I know I haven't done this yet this year, which I apologize. I haven't really talked about the rankings yet. The rankings on wisports.net, their coaches poll, right? Again, wisports.net. So you'll find this. We have some teams checking in the top 10 for each division. We have in D4, you'll see New Holstein. They are number 10 at the moment. Right now, they are 4-1 from this ranking when it came out. We also have the Brilliant Lions. They check in at number 6 is where you'll find them. Other area teams, Utzberg at 7 there in D3. Otherwise, there's not really a lot of area teams in here. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, we're looking just like Northeast Wisconsin. I mean, if you want to really include more of the bigger cities in like the Appleton area or over there in Green Bay too, we got Kaukauna in D1 at 5. We have Hortonville at 3. We have Nina at 2. So, I mean, otherwise, it's pretty limited to this area. So, we'll go over then to the girls. We'll talk about how, recent games, we'll talk about how they fared so far, some of the conference games for each team. So, here we go. Looking at the conference standings, you got Brilliant on top of the conference, 3-0, alongside Chilton, also 3-0. Chilton is 6-0 overall at the moment. Brilliant 4-1 overall. That lone loss coming to Manitowoc Lutheran for Lions. New Holstein checks in 3-1, 5-1 overall. Valders, they rebound after the tough start. They're 2-2 in conference now. However, 3-5 overall. Kiel 1-2 in conference, 3-4 overall. And then you have Roncalli 1-2 in conference, 3-4 overall. And then you have Sheboygan Falls and Two Rivers both 0-3 in conference. However, Sheboygan Falls 3-4 overall, Two Rivers 1-7 overall. We'll go through this past week of games, so maybe some scores. Actually, it won't let me go that far back on with sports. We'll be touching on, just Saturday. There's 2 games. Roncalli wins 38-33 over Kohler, and then Valders beats Cedar Grove, Belgium 68-53. Let's go through conference games this week. It's a Tuesday, Friday week, so what that means we have 8 conference teams. Yeah, we have all 8 teams in action on Tuesday and Friday. The matchups on Tuesday feature Brilliant Roncalli, New Holstein Chilton. That'll be a good one at Chilton. That's going to be your game to go to Tuesday. You got Two Rivers and Kiel, and then Valders, Sheboygan Falls. And then Friday, you got Chilton Roncalli, Kiel New Holstein, Sheboygan Falls, Two Rivers, and Valders Brilliant. Valders Brilliant will be your best game there. So that's over in Brilliant. So two good games this week. And yeah, I mean, I really think that New Holstein Chilton one's going to be a big one. If New Holstein gets the job done, that'll be big there. Even Chilton, if Chilton moves to 7-0 overall, I mean, you would expect to see them ranked some sort in the state next week. It would be what I would imagine, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Let's go to Saturday. We got a non-con game. We got Sheboygan Falls. They got to go to Elmira and face them there. Otherwise, that's it here for girls basketball for the upcoming schedule. We'll go to the stat leaders now. On top of the conference in points per game is Grace Shizzle of New Holstein, 23.7 a game for her. Allison Kakis, 22.8 for her. And second, Alan Hurl, 16.3. Peyton Grenzer with 16. And then Addison Schwely rounds it out, 15.7 a game. In the rebound category, it's the usual names, I'll say. Peyton Grenzer, 13.8 rebounds a game. Addison Schwely, 11.9. And then we've Adeline Hurl with 11.7. The assist leaders, Alyssa Wolfels averaging 5.7 assists per game. Allison Kakis, 4.9. Olivia Shu, 4.6. So there are your stat updates, your standing updates, and your game updates for this upcoming week. Some good ones there in the world of girls basketball. Go check those out. We're going to go to boys now, touch on what they have going on. So looking at the boys basketball coaches poll, we see checking in at, some a lot of good area teams on here. We'll start in D4. So Roncalli actually is ranked number 9 to start the year. They're not going to be ranked that now. We'll talk about that. They had a loss to Two Rivers that definitely will push them out there on the top 10. However, Howard's Grove is number 2 right now in Division 4. So they have a nice thing going on there. Otherwise, really in the area, I mean, like Green Bay and EW Lutheran's always in a D5 at 8. It seems like they're always in the top 10 there in D5. However, D3, we have a lot of familiar faces. We have Brilliant. They're number 2 in Division 3. They are right behind West Salem, who, of course, beat them last year, knocked them out. Otherwise, Prescott, if you remember Prescott, number 6 right now in D3. Xavier, number 7. And otherwise, I mean, for D3, a lot of teams that made the state are in the top 10 from last year. Again, more in this area. Bayport, number 9. Oshkosh North, number 8 in D1. Both those squads D1. Nina, D1. They are as well, but they're number 3. De Pere, number 1. Pewaukee, a team that was heavily favored last year. They are number 2 in Division 2. Wisconsin Lutheran is ahead of them right now, in case you were wondering. But otherwise, that's really the rankings. It's Roncalli was in here and Brilliant. And I'd imagine there's actually a chance we could see maybe Kiel sneak in here. They're 4-0 to start the year. They win, which impressed me, was they had that impressive 20-point victory over Valders. Yeah, Valders was a team we were thinking could be inserted into the rankings as well. But, I mean, just touch on Friday's games. I can look at these. It was, Valders. I mean, they had a back-to-back. And they lose the first game of the back-to-back to Kiel. Again, they lose by 20 there, 79-59. Kiel shot impressive. They played an impressive game. Braden April had an incredible game there. No stats for Valders, unfortunately. Saturday, then they beat Cedar Grove Belgium by 27. So, two games, two different outcomes that happened. You lose by 20, you win by 27. That's basketball for you. Saturday also, Brilliant beats their rival Wrightstown by 30. So, this Brilliant team is the real deal this year. They beat Chilton on Friday, their first game of their back-to-back, by 42. So, this Brilliant team will be just fine, is what we've seen. We'll go to the standings right now. Brilliant and Kiel both atop the EWC 3-0 overall, or in conference. My apologies. Brilliant 5-0 overall, however. Kiel 4-0 overall. Roncalli and Valders both 2-1 in conference, and Roncalli 2-1 overall. Again, they lost to Two Rivers by 16, and again, that doesn't happen often, right? I mean, we see Roncalli never lose to Two Rivers. That's something interesting. And then what I was gonna say here, Valders, they are 2-1 in conference, 4-2 overall. New Holstein 1-2 in conference, 1-4 overall. Two Rivers 1-2 in conference, 3-2 overall. Chilton and Sheboygan Falls 0-3 in conference, and then Chilton 1-4 overall. Sheboygan Falls 0-4 overall. And going to your standings, I'll give them, or not standing stats. I'll give them to you here. Jeremy Lorenz leads the conference in scoring, 22.2 points a game. Brady Richards with 20.0 points a game. Cole Hovey with the same 20 points a game. Max Miller at 4 from Chilton, 19 a game. Braden April, who I mentioned from Kiel, their leading scorer, 17 a game. And then from Kiel also, Grant Munns on the rebounds, 15.5 a game for him. Jeremy Lorenz, 11.4. Cole Hovey, 10.5. In the assist department, Parker Brown leads the way, 6.2 assists a game for him. Austin Kramer, 4.8. Pierce Arns, 4.2 from Kiel. So there's your stats report. We went through the rankings. Let's go through this week's slate of games. We got some non-con games here to start our week. And here are the games. It's Ozaki. They travel to Two Rivers. We have Sheboygan Christian traveling to New Holstein. Southern Door to Brilliant. That could be a good one. We'll see how that one turns out. Keep on that Ozaki one. Ozaki Two Rivers is tonight, and then these rest of these games are Tuesday. Chilton also faces Hilbert. They travel to Hilbert. That should be interesting as well. I'll probably pick Southern Door Brilliant, that Tuesday one. But then Thursday, I think you got to pick Brilliant Valders. That's the first game I'm going to say, because it seems, Robert's talked about it on this podcast with me. Others, right, have talked about it with me. Brilliant, it seems, cannot beat Valders at home. I mean, it's whatever team is assembled for either party, it's going to be a close game. I mean, it's going to be a close game. I'll tell you that. At home, we saw Valders. It was really an upset last year over Brilliant at home. Why can't that might happen this year? You never know. You never can count Valders out at home, is what they say. And Valders, they got a good team this year. Brilliant's got a great team as well. That's going to be your game to travel to Thursday if you're looking for one. Kiel Two Rivers also on Thursday. You got to like Kiel in that game. New Holstein Chilton should be a toss-up. Roncalli, then Sheboygan Falls also might be a toss-up on Thursday. We got some non-con game. We have one non-con game Saturday. My apologies. You have Roncalli traveling to Milwaukee Hamilton, a 4:00 game on a Saturday. Okay, so you can go check that one out. And we have more games next week we'll be touching on, but it's an interesting ride so far. We're seeing the conferences, the thing already pan out, right? The standings. We see, is Roncalli number 4? I think Valders will take over Roncalli. However, I think Roncalli still is in that 4 to 5 range in the conference, even with that loss to Two Rivers. I'm intrigued to see where they end up. Kiel, Brilliant, it seems Brilliant's going to be that team right now, a team to beat. But, Kiel had a commanding win over Valders, which almost makes it like, do you do tiers? Do you say they're 2A, 2B, or do you just put Kiel in their own tier, Valders in their own tier? I don't know. Those are questions that I think will be answered later throughout this week, throughout the season. But that's going to wrap it up here for the EWC talk. Again, special thanks to wissports.net. That's where you'll find all your Wisconsin high school sports needs. That's, again, wissports.net. Go check that out down below. We will go here now to the world of we'll go to football. I want to touch on the bye week. I want to touch on the Packers playoff scenario situation stuff here. So week 14 has basically come and gone. There's a game tonight, right? Patriots, Cardinals. We're going to focus on Packers. If you want football talk, you go check out Journey to a Million every Wednesday evening. It's live 5:40, 5:45-ish. We go live. Go check that out. Well, we do. You get a full NFL talk. There's some fantasy football thrown in there. We answer questions for fantasy football, but we're also talking football. We're talking about the game we love. So, again, go check that out. But, however, in this standings department there in the NFL, so for the Packers, it gets interesting. The playoff scenarios, right, for them to get in. Because we're going to talk about what happened yesterday before we preview what needs to happen next week, if that makes sense. And I'll tell you what needs to happen. We need to see the Packers win out, basically. As obvious as that is, they have 8 losses. But the Lions win yesterday. That's kind of like the lone thing that did not happen. Or did not go the Packers' way. Everything else did. Giants lose. Seahawks lose. Like, that's exactly what needed to happen. But now it gets interesting because now it's, Green Bay has the tiebreaker over Carolina. They also have the tiebreaker over Atlanta. So it's like, okay. But the situation that makes this interesting is you got to beat out the Seahawks and the Lions. The Lions beat the Vikings is kind of the problem because they have the strength of schedule metric and the strength of victory metric over the Packers, and also the head-to-head record and the division record. They got it all, and the conference record. I mean, they have every tiebreaker over the Packers. So that's interesting. You're basically you're going for that 7 spot because what you'd want basically, you want Washington, you want the Commanders to make the playoffs, you want the Giants to miss. You need the Giants to basically lose out. All right, when I say you do, I'm talking about all of us, all Packer fans. Because if the Giants basically lose out, that 7 spot's going to be up for grabs. They don't have to lose out. They need to lose a game, basically. But how that's going to happen is, we need Commanders to win next week over the Giants because the Commanders basically have the tiebreaker over the Giants, and it'd be easier if they get it in because, again, they have both teams have tiebreaker over Packers, essentially. So you just want one of those teams to really lose out. You're also hoping for the Seahawks not to make the playoffs, too. So you just need a lot of losing to happen. And Packers really don't control their own destiny. So you're in a position you hate to be in. Other teams control your destiny. And when I say other teams, like a lot of other teams do, there's 2 spots really up for grabs, and there's 4 teams going for them. So 5 including the Packers. So and the Packers are kind of in the outside looking in. They win. If they win against the Rams, which is expected, that'll be a nice win to really set up a 6-8 record. You got that tough matchup though on Christmas. It's the Dolphins. Dolphins didn't look good. All I'm saying is they could get this done. They really could. But that everything went well yesterday. It was really good. The Giants lost. That was huge. It was huge. The Seahawks lost. People weren't expecting the Seahawks to lose that one, so that was really the biggest thing. But the Lions, I guess they were expected to win. They were favored, but come on. The Lions took care of business, though, against Minnesota, which really threw everything off. So that playoff picture is interesting. But we'll go and preview the game. We're going to go preview that Rams-Packer game. You got Monday Night Football at Lambeau. You got to I keep saying it, but you got to like the Packers at Lambeau. I don't know if I can keep saying it based on how this year's gone, but the Monday night game, you'll love a Monday night game at Lambeau. It's a matter of who's active right now. Aaron Donald might not be playing. We know Allen Robinson's out for the year. We know basically Matthew Stafford's out for the year. So we're going to see Baker Mayfield under center. And, Baker's last time at Green Bay was that Christmas game. He didn't play really that well last year. So, hopefully that's something that could help the Packers out. No Cooper Kupp next week still. You're really looking at the stats. It's going to be a lot of, Akers, which Akers played decent last week. They get the comeback win over the Raiders, basically. But, yeah, Mayfield had that impressive drive. So I'd be intrigued to see, how much they're going to throw the ball because wide receiver 1 right now is basically Van Jefferson. So, and Tyler Higbee there as well. Aaron Donald, I mentioned out. There's Terrell Lewis on their defensive end. The defense is very banged up. Same with the offense. A lot of injuries for this team. So I'm wondering, how we'll see them fare against the Packers. I'll give you the Packer injury report. It's really hard to say right now, looking a week ahead of the game, but can I even tell you who's favored? Yeah, Packers. ESPN, they give them an 84% chance to win. I don't know how much you want to buy into that, but right now I'm not seeing any Packer injury, really, for any starters. But I mean, obviously, some guys are out for the year. Here we go. But I think, we know right now, okay, Darnell Savage, I guess, right now, out. I mean, we know the guys on IR who are out for the year, right? We know them. But Romeo Dobbs, he's off the IR. I mean, he's off IR. I don't even know was he on IR, but basically he potentially could be back, right? I mean, that's someone who we were thinking 5 to 6 weeks ago. So that's something to keep it. We're going to be monitoring. Darnell Savage will be monitoring, and David Bakhtiari will be monitoring. He's more questionable than out. So you would think out of all those guys, Bakhtiari will be the most likely to play. And then Savage and and Dobbs, I'm not sure about. But again, with the Packers, I like their chances. The preview is, will we see what Christian Watson? Will we see the Christian Watson we've seen the last 3 or 4 weeks? I hope so. I hope we'll see that the target share, continue that, and even those, the ADOT, right, the average depth of target. I hope we continue to see that number rise as it has been. But Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, love to see what AJ Dillon, can keep doing what he's doing. I like how they've been using both those guys. I would prefer Jones to get more targets and then Dillon more carries, and it's been efficient. Right, Dillon's been averaging 4 or 5 yards a carry. So, granted, it was against some not so great run defenses. I still think it's a relevant argument to have those guys have them run the ball. Right, have Dillon run the ball, have Jones, even Jones on the outside runs. I'm all for that. That play's been money so far for the Packers this year. I also think Packers, I think they should be only throwing the ball. I'd like to say you get 60 plays, right? I think that's a fair way to put it. And with that, I'd say out of the 60 plays, the Packers should be throwing the ball 20, 25 times only. I think you should be running like 55 to 60. That's kind of where I'd put it. But yeah, with that, we'll touch on some basketball here before we wrap up on this Monday morning. So I mentioned it a little in the start of the episode here. Right, you win Orlando, you win in Sacramento, you win in Dallas, or you win at home against Sacramento. Sorry, you win in Dallas, but then you're like, all right, we're gonna get a clean sweep this week. You got Houston in Houston. Oh well, it's a struggling Houston team, a rebuilding Houston team. And what happened was you lose the Houston one. I mean, the game that I thought the Orlando game was the easiest game this week, which, score wise, it was really the Sacramento one at home. But Houston, you lose 97-92. It was just a tough night offensively for the Bucks. Defense played okay. I'm looking more. We'll touch on more of the bright spots. That right, Orlando, winning that right away on Monday. Nice start for the week. It's a 4-game week too, which is not easy in the NBA. Sacramento, they went on Wednesday at the Giannis birthday, the dad joke bobblehead, they call it. Giannis put up 35 and had 7 assists to go along with it. And then that Dallas game, that was tough. That was a gritty win for this Bucks squad on the road facing adversity. Giannis fouls out with a couple minutes left, and then just an excellent play call. Probably gonna be like the play call of the year for the regular season for the Milwaukee Bucks. Mike Budenholzer calls a lob, an alley-oop. Was it Holiday to, or it was George Hill to Brook Lopez was the play, and it was money. I mean, like, it was an excellent play there, and that ended up being crucial for the Bucks. They get the job done 106-105. They get help from Dallas missing free throws, as we know. The injury concern right now, though, I already touched on the Houston game, but Chris Middleton, it was an ankle sprain is what we were told. Sprained left ankle. We don't know anything else. We do know Wesley Matthews right now has COVID-19 is what I'm seeing. Right now, Middleton's labeled day-to-day, so we don't have exact info. We don't know everything that's going on, but Wesley Matthews right now is just out. And then Joe Ingles, he right now, his status too, as we know, he's been out the whole year so far. They mentioned his debut around New Year's Day was always kind of the speculation. I wonder if it's going to come sooner, but right now we really don't have an update for him on that. And again, the Bucks are 19-7. And again, the Bucks prediction post for next week is going to be out right after this episode comes out. So you can go check that out. So where we'll be previewing ahead this week. There's 3 games. I'll read them to you. I guess I can give the record prediction too. Golden State at home on TNT on Tuesday. NBA TV then on Thursday at 7 against the Memphis Grizzlies. By the way, that Golden State game starts at 6:30 p.m. It's the first game on the TNT doubleheader. And then Utah on Saturday at home against Utah. 7 o'clock is that one. I got the Bucks going 2-1. I am a little concerned about that Thursday game in Memphis. That's my loss. Golden State has only 3 wins on the road. I don't like their chances there. I mean, I'm the Golden State's chances. I like the Bucks' chances there. That Thursday one though in Memphis, that Memphis crowd, that Memphis team is tough. So keep that one in mind. Utah's played well, but at home, I gotta like the Bucks there. You know, and it's not like some back-to-back situation where I'm concerned about that. But we're almost that Christmas Day matchup. Boston and Milwaukee. You know, it's a busy one. Bucks Celtics I have, and then I have Packers and I have the Packer Dolphin game. I'm fairly busy on Christmas with all these sporting events to watch. And then you also can't forget Big East Conference play starting up for the Marquette Golden Eagles. I'll be watching that. Horizon League play for the Milwaukee Panthers is starting up. It's just busy time right now in sports, and it gets crazy. I like in summer. I just got baseball. I might have some basketball wrapping up. It's pretty pretty laid back, pretty smooth. We got some NFL training camp, but right now it's everything's just thrown at me. And it gets crazier in March, as many know. It gets wild in March, so just keep that in mind. Otherwise, just some announcements here before I wrap up the episode. So again, schedule-wise, tomorrow night I'll be having on Nate Griepentrog, a Division I athlete from UW-Milwaukee. He is a track and cross-country athlete. Again, at the Division I level, we'll be talking about his journey, how he ends up at Milwaukee, and how it's gone so far. It's his 3rd year here. Otherwise, we have Wednesday morning. We'll probably record Drew's basketball crew then, just because that Wednesday slate's a lot better, even though Golden State and Milwaukee square off tomorrow. Otherwise, we also have Journey to Million. You know the drill, 5:45-ish on Wednesday night Central. You'll find us live here on YouTube or Twitch, or again, it'll be uploaded for everyone else on Thursday. Lastly, giveaway-wise, I'm going to be announcing a Christmas giveaway very soon on behalf of the podcast, so check that out. Check out the social media at Your Sports Crew if you want to stay up to date on that. It'll be a season of giving giveaway. Thinking it'll go live around the 18th to the 25th. So check that out around Sunday this weekend. I'd expect some stuff to come out soon there. But otherwise, that's going to wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skyberg, at Drew Sports Crew on all social media platforms. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.